It's Jen Dars here live from room C130. Thanks for joining me for a very special episode of Want TV. Not only is it special because I am your host, but today we are honoring Martin Luther King, and we even have a spoken word and a live interview from one of Franklin's finest teachers. But before all that, let's go to the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A minister, activist, humanitarian, and leader are just a few words to describe the roles of Martin Luther King. Using civil disobedience, King forever changed the world that we live in for the better. For those of you who may not know, Monday is Martin Luther King Day. So instead of using your day off of school to binge on Netflix, let's use this day, warriors, to get out there and better our community. Today I have with me Ms. Simith-Richardson. She's one of our U.S. history teachers here at Franklin High School. Thanks so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So I have one question for you first. What can the students here do to keep Martin Luther King's legacy alive?
I think one of the most important things that students can do is to focus on your education. I think that it is imperative that we have an educated populace because you're the future of America. And if you're not an informed citizen, then our country will not be as strong as it's capable of being. That's one. And the second thing is that I think that young people should get involved with any activities that are scheduled possibly in their churches, their mosques, their synagogue that focus on Martin Luther King on Monday. And thirdly, and finally, if you can offer anything to the homeless, to people that are hungry, volunteer at any of those kind of places and in terms of supporting your community.
And one more question that I have for you is, do you think that we have achieved Martin Luther King's dream?
I think that we have come such a long way. I've been fortunate. I was a young person when Martin Luther King was alive, and now the idea of what occurred after his passing. And I think that young people, one of the things you need to understand is that Martin Luther King has such a love and passion for young people and have young people fulfill their personal dreams and desires. But it requires them to make a commitment and do the things that they need to do to make that happen.
Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. That was some great advice. We are going to take a short commercial break, but when we get back, DaiJonae Clemons will be performing her spoken word poem, Dream Walk. I was your host, Jen Dars, and I will see you next Friday.
He was so inspiring.
He took chances.
He was so moving.
He lived daringly.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a man of service, and his day shall be a day of service.
He inspired us in words, but he led us in deeds. To honor him, let's do the same. Go to mlkday.gov and find out how to volunteer on Martin Luther King Day and beyond. This message is brought to you by the Corporation for National and Community Service.
Dream walk. My eyes flood with grief as I witness humanity being beaten down by Chimera. This horrible real creature who was birthed by the mother of ignorance and fathered by hatred has once again planted fear in the soil of human minds. Fear. The most deadly contagious sickness that controls some nerve in our heads, which prevents us from pursuing our destiny, prevents us from understanding one another, prevents us from realizing the difference between right and wrong. So we continue to sing the song, we'll keep on waiting for the world to change, but how long? How long will we sit patiently for it? My beliefs are not orthodox, which doesn't make me into a bad person. Just because I love equally and embrace it with pride doesn't make me weak. Just because my skin has a different complexion than others does not make lighter tones superior. These things doesn't define nor label low, cruel, or horrifying. The world is full of unique stones, vibrant hearts, and theories that every human has the right to say. We need action, we need faith, we need people, not just any people. We need true dream walkers. It is up to you to cure the fear inside you. It is up to you to grow positive seeds for our future to nurture. It is up to you to make that change. It is up to you to keep that dream alive.
I can remember the day when the Reverend King was assassinated. And the irony was he was a man who preached civil disobedience and peace. And he was taken from us so violently.
I think Martin Luther King would want to see people treat each other with kindness and respect and to sacrifice themselves for the good of others.
The LGBT Club in FHS believes in celebrating kindness while working together to create safe schools free of name-calling, bullying, and bias. It's time to support equality between all students and to work together against bullying. Join us every Wednesday at room C300.